Thank you. Cat is fan. Okay. I'm so excited about being here today, and I do apologize for last week. My son runs my world, so when he calls, I answer. So I do apologize, but I'm glad to be here today. So thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me. So we're going to talk about making math work, and I could talk about this for hours and hours, but I only have a few minutes to talk. So we're just going to kind of touch on the iceberg about how you can be more engaged with your kids in math. And okay, and first of all, there's something that you need to know. I love this quote so much because it gives you so much power. It says students with the most supportive parents demonstrate higher mathematics achievement and more positive attitudes toward mathematics than students with the least supportive parents. This quote is great because it doesn't have anything to do with how much math you know. It doesn't have anything to do with how much math your kids know or how great they feel about math. It has to do with just your support. And you're thinking the math, and especially if you start getting fourth and fifth and sixth grade students, you're looking at the math flowing. I haven't seen this math in years, or it's a little bit different than what we did back in the day because even as a teacher, I went to elementary school 30 years ago. So I'm looking at math like actually it was more than 30 years ago, 40 years ago. So I'm looking at the math and just the pacing is different and just some of the intensity is different. And just as an aside, just to make it very personal, as a teacher, it's like, okay, well, we'll just teach math, we'll push through. As a parent of a student who comes home and we're working on math, and he breaks down, and even being a math teacher, sometimes what do you do to help this child become happier when math comes along?
When I was in middle school, I got a lot of math awards.
Mhm. You
And
see,
I was surprised.
and it's great, and then share that with your just share it with him. But I did great math. I loved math. I had experienced math in a way that was meaningful, and so just make sure that your child knows that. We're going to talk about that because those words are so important. So today's topics, and I again I can talk for hours about how you can help your kids to math. So if you'd like me to come back for another dose of it, I would be more than happy to do so and make maybe a series of it. We're going to talk a little bit about mathematical mindsets today and suggestions for you as parents. And sometimes we talk about mindsets for kids, but it's really the adults that need to work on mindsets. That's the teachers, that's the parents, that's all the adults in all these amazing kids' worlds. And then we're going to talk about how you can make math fun. What can you do to make math engaging and interesting for your kids? And if you have questions at the end, I hope to have some answers for you in my very best. Now, first of all, everyone has been in a place in math where you get to a point where I can't do anymore. It's got to a point where it's a little bit tough for us. We've all been there, and part of what makes kids successful in math is how we approach math as adults. How we look at it. If a kid has a teacher who's like, "Well, I'm not good in math," and she says it or he says it in front of a class, that affects them, and it's the same with the parent. And also looking at just math from from year to year, understanding what part of kindergarten math is necessary and important, and a redo when we get to fifth and sixth grade math because it's all connected in such a beautiful way. All right, so we want us all the adults in these amazing kids' worlds, to have a growth mindset for math, where we're going to talk about the positive. We're going to stay up with math. We're going to failure is an opportunity to grow. I was just talking to some kids in my intervention group today. You're going to get something wrong. It's okay. It's part of the learning experience. I think what we as a society have decided to do is make failure something that is a faux pas. We don't fail. We can't fail. We're not allowed to fail.
No me quiero equivocar, tiene que ser la respuesta correcta, solo hay una. Y no está bien porque debemos decirle, te vas a equivocar o sí sabemos que algo puede ser que no resulte, pero ¿cómo podemos tratar de otra vez?
We want children to learn that they can do anything. We want them to feel like they can conquer the world. And it's true. It may take a child longer to do certain things than other kids, but we have this huge capacity to learn and we can do anything.
Sí, que si se equivoca muy bien hasta celebrar eso, trataste, de eso se trata, pero no, sí puedo, no puedo, sí sé, no sé. Eso es lo que estamos tratando de que no sea tan concreto
I
el
love this one.
pensamiento.
Challenges help me grow. I tell the kids, and I know that Baby can speak for this. If you're not challenged, you're not doing anything. You're staying in the same place. And the whole idea of a challenge is something to overcome, to get over, to figure out a way to do it, or in some cases, a way around it, which is a whole nother talent
Sí, si algo
altogether.
es
So
difícil, hasta llorar pueden llegar en la clase, a veces hasta eso nos pasa de niños tan pequeños, pero está bien, esa es parte del crecimiento de acá
and we
también.
want kids to want to try new things. And the cool thing about math is there's just so much to do in math. We want them to try new things and to get excited about it as
Sí,
well
que
as
sean
being inspired.
contentos, que hablen, que quieran tratar y que si algo se equivoquen, no importa, no importante.
What we want to avoid is that fixed mindset where failure is the problem, where you fail. Raise your hand in here if you've ever failed something. I'm going to raise both hands because
A todos, ¿verdad?
I think everyone has had that
Difícil,
moment where they're
sí.
just like, I just have been knocked down, and the whole point is getting back up and continuing in spite of the fact that you've been knocked down. One of the things I've learned with my intervention kids is they go to class, they think that everyone is perfect, they're struggling. I tell them, no, I guarantee you, they are struggling on something. Maybe not in the moment that you're struggling in this thing that you're looking at everyone else, but they're struggling in something. And we just want them to know that.
Y queremos que todos recuerden que ellos sepan que no solo ellos necesitan algo y los otros niños saben todo, saben, no, cada quien tiene necesidades específicas y cuando Dr. Bennett los lleva con ella es porque nosotros les hemos dicho a ella, por ejemplo, Fabian o cualquier niño necesita esto específico y también trabajar en esto con ellos.
Another thing that really hit me hard was when I'm frustrated, I give up. It's okay to step back, but you never give up. It's okay to say, I'm going to take a break from it and step away from it, maybe come back to it to the next day or later on that day, but we are not equipped to give up.
Y siempre darles descansos también porque a veces están haciendo mucho al mismo tiempo, pero decirles que ok, vamos a descansar un poco, pero volver a eso que está difícil. Volver otra vez.
We've also learned that when we're told, hey, you're not quite right about that, oh, I failed completely. But when you're given feedback, a winner uses feedback to get better. The winner doesn't take feedback and says, oh, you're talking there. We want kids to take feedback and get better.
Y muy importante porque esto el salón con mis niños pequeños nunca hablo de correcto o bueno, malo, esta cosa está bien, esta no, no, es tratar, busquemos otra forma de hacerlo, hablemoslo, enseñémoslo, el proceso,
And,
más
it,
que la respuesta.
and what we're really fighting against is a society that puts us all in boxes and says, well, you're not good in math, you're not good in reading, you're not good in this, you're not good at that. And we fall for it. We say, okay, well, I guess I'm not good at math. I guess I'm never going to be good at math. I guess I'm never going to be really great at math. And so I give up.
Ese pensamiento, aun cuando yo estaba hablando con los padres, ellos me dicen a mí, no, es que mi niño no es bueno en matemáticas. ¿Por qué decir eso? No, es que eso no es su fuerte. ¿Por qué no? No porque ellos internalizan eso desde bien pequeños, lo repiten también. No podemos.
So we, the adults in these amazing kids' worlds, we have to convince them that no, we are not going to give up. That it's sometimes going to be hard, and that's part of the process. But we have to keep moving.
Sí, seguir en el camino del aprendizaje. Y no importa si tenemos dificultad, todos lo tenemos.
So what we want to do is, for you parents, is we want to avoid saying you're bad in math, even if you haven't done math since middle school or high school, and you're not bad in math. You may have not had a lot of experience with some of the math they have, which is a whole other story, but you're not bad in math. You never tell your kids you're bad in math because you know how my mom's bad at math, so I'm bad at math too.
Yes.
It's hereditary.
They repeat everything.
They do.
Yeah.
They repeat everything. So it's really hard because sometimes I'm not good at something. I'm like, well, you got this. So you have to really convince the child, yeah, and so are you. It's hereditary, right? So talk about math. Math is not our enemy. Math is everywhere. And I'm putting together this this video on fractions. And I'm trying to get some friends to help me with this because we talk about fractions being the evil that is fourth and fifth grade, which is actually a gateway to higher math. You can't do anything without fractions. But fractions are so much fun. So you want to talk about math. Where do you see fractions? Where when I can't have fractions, but where do you see fractions? What are fractions? Have conversations.
Lo que sucede es que tenemos el enfoque demasiado en cuál es la respuesta, cuál es la respuesta, sí, es solo eso, pero no, debe de ser, hablemos, busquemos o explícame tú en la tarea, ¿me puedes hablar de lo que estás haciendo? Uy, yo lo hice así, ¿cómo lo hiciste tú? Es más eso, a que llegar a una respuesta.
And frame the moment as a chance for kids to explore the kind of math they like. I mean, we know we have homework, but the whole point of you working with your child is working with your child. That's the key. And it may not be that you can do the math that the kids are doing in class, but you can do something. Play a math game. We're going to talk about some really cool math games in a minute that you probably have on your shelf at home. But find out what kind of math kids like.
Sí, porque a veces también cuando ustedes están listos a ayudarlos en casa, tal vez puede ser que digan, oh, no sé cómo hacer esto, cuál es el proceso, pero es más el tiempo que están hablando, eso es lo que importa. Y si hay preguntas, si le podemos hacer al maestro, eso es claro, pero es mejor que el tiempo que estén hablando, más que 2 por 2 igual a 4 y al siguiente, no, es como supiste eso. ¿Qué hiciste para saber la respuesta? Este tipo de procedimiento.
Have your child teach you math. What are you doing in class? Have them show you what they're doing in math. That's really powerful. That empowers.
Actuar como que ellos son sus maestros. Enséñame algo, explícamelo. Oh, podemos hacer un juego de esto. Hablar los dos. Sí.
Try the new math. I mean, and I'm going to give you a secret. Tell you a secret. The new math is not new. We've been doing a lot of the things we're doing in math now for decades, and I know this because I was there. We just have been doing it for years and years and years, and it's been packaged to be new. Like it's now this is Common Core math. It's really not. It's really some of the same things we've been doing.
Los conceptos son básicos y muy importantes y lo que sucede y lo que vemos todos como maestros en la clase es que si no saben el procedimiento, por eso es que no siguen, porque quisiéramos que hablaran más, que tuvieran menos miedo, digamos, de tratar algo nuevo, porque los procedimientos se aprenden, pero lo que ellos tienen resistencia muy de que sí lo sé o no lo sé. Y si no, no voy a hablar nada. Sino que
And with that, there's some really cool websites that are free. Khan Academy will break down every type of math that you ever want to see. Like Khan Academy, and there are some really great places that don't just give you worksheets, but actually teach you the concept that you need to know. And that's been a really great resource for parents who want to be more active with their children's math instruction.
eso que dijo Dr. Bennett se llama Khan Academy. Sí, y que ahí puede, porque enseñan conceptos también y hablan específicamente de lo que los niños en cualquier grado que estén, ayuda adicional.
Next is do away with drill and kill. There is a time and a place for drill and kill. There's a time and a place when we're learning our multiplication facts. We want them to, we want our kids to know them quickly, and just by glancing at them and our their addition, subtraction facts, we want them to know that. But it's even more important for them to understand what 2 times 4 means. What does it look like? How does it look in a picture? How does it look in a if you have pieces of manipulatives or something like that, you want to make sure that you are, doing things where kids are experiencing. There's a difference between doing the math fast and math fluency. Math fluency means that we can take those fractions and do all kinds of stuff with them because we know why our facts work. And
Entonces, muy importante, súper importante esta parte de que si hay momento para memorizar, repetir, eso sí, necesita pasar. Pero aún más importante es hacer dibujos o con objetos, con un proyecto, algo que estén haciendo y hablando. Es que hablando es donde más tenemos dificultad, que los niños no producen lenguaje acerca de lo que están haciendo. Mucho más importante.
absolutely. And then, take it slow. You don't have to know every type of math in one day. Just take it slow. If you're learning something new, just go slow with it, and encourage the kids to not try to rush through their work as well. Because again, another disclaimer, another thing that we have trained our kids to think that is if it's done quick, it's good. And the slower you go, the less you know. So we want to take that off of them. Work slow. One of the things I do with my intervention kids is like, look at the process. You can speed up once you get the process going. Because getting it done is a good thing, but getting it done correctly is going to be our number
Porque muchas veces decimos, qué bueno, qué rápido lo hiciste, como si eso fuera lo más importante. Y si se toma uno más tiempo, es que quizás no entendió por qué está pasando eso. Ese no es el mensaje que queremos mandar. Al contrario, tómate tu tiempo, usa objetos y otras herramientas para demostrarlo. No solamente dar una respuesta, sino me puedes explicar cómo lo supiste o lo hiciste, hasta una gran parte del aprendizaje. Sí. Entonces es mejor saber una cosa más involucradamente que tres rápidas y sin saber explicar.
And last but not least, ask questions. If you don't know what's going on in math, your child's teacher is your best resource. Go and make an appointment or call or email saying, I'm really having a hard time with this. Can you please give me some assistance? We're here also to help as a math intervention teacher. I'm more than happy to sit down and go over things with anyone who asks to just, I'm not sure how to do this particular type of math. Can you just give me some suggestions, either how to do it or where to find information? So ask questions because we're here as a resource. I mean, we're gone are the days that we're in front of our classrooms and then that's it. We are here as a resource. So please reach out to your teacher, reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to assist you in any way, shape, or form if you're
Cualquier
struggling.
pregunta o estamos aquí para comunicarnos con Dr. Ben, ella puede venir si quiere otra vez para otra información adicional. Ella también saca a los niños que nosotros le hemos indicado que necesitan más ayuda y todo esto es parte de lo que hablaba Mrs. Pelema también. Y aunque nuestros niños estén bien, pero ella también la ayuda es para todos.
And don't be shy either.
No tengan pena de cualquier comentario.
And the last part for today is going to be math games and activities that make meaningful connections. A lot of times we're thinking, oh gosh, we have to have a worksheet in front of us and we have to do this math. But honestly, there's so many things that you can do to apply math. Sometimes in even in intervention, we're going to play Uno, or we're going to play a card game where we're matching numbers. We're going to do some other things that the kids say, oh, hey, we're playing a game. But, there's always a method to it. Playing games is is a high level of understanding math, some certain
Sí,
math skills.
al jugar aquí juegos de matemáticas que tienen que usar solo la mente y no papel, todo eso es muy bueno. O cuando salgan a algún lado, hacer cuentas o hablar de números en lo que ven, no solamente con papel.
For instance, we have some Monopoly. Who has a Monopoly game at home? All right. Now it's old school. Now the new Monopoly has a little credit card, but if you can find, but if you can find an old school Monopoly with actually money where your kids are having to count out money and purchase property and losing money, going to jail, getting paid, taking a budget, that is adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing on the next level. And they think they're having fun. And just don't let them steal any money out of the like I did. Yahtzee. Who has a Yahtzee game? Who's heard of Yahtzee? It's a game. It's a dice game from back in the day where kids are having to roll the dice, have to count the dice quickly. So they're sympathizing, which means looking at small groups of numbers and knowing right away that's five, that's two, that's six, which is a huge skill because then they're not having to count one, two, three, four, five, six. They know it's six by just looking at it, and counting and strategizing as well. When you use a strategy to try to figure out which category to put things in, that's also those problem solving skills that come with math. I'm really
Ujú.
interested.
Sí, porque hay como con los dados, bueno, contar, sumar, todo, pero algo divertido. Y entre la familia, entonces, ¿qué pasa? Ellos juntos. Es positivo, es alegre, no es algo que es algo difícil en ese momento y se aprende también.
Okay, then dominoes, it's counting by five, where you have to have the ends of each of your rows, you
Los
have to have
dominós
multiples of five.
también.
And counting by five is huge. That is probably it's probably the most fun multiplication fact, but you're learning how to
Cuando
count by five and
no se
multiply by
cuenta de 5 en 5, entonces también están practicando esa parte.
five. Uno. Who has an Uno game? Uno is so much fun because you make little rules and stuff. That's a good thing. Where kids are identifying numbers, counting, and strategizing as well. So these are games where they are immersing themselves in math. That's what you want. You want them to be like coded in math, and Uno is just amazing. Okay. And then sorry is also counting where you're rolling the dice and you're actually counting, which is a cool game. It's a little slower than Uno, but it is cool for I like Uno. Battleship, as you get to fifth grade, fourth and fifth grade, you're going to be doing something with the coordinate plane, X and Y coordinates. And Battleship is a perfect game for that. And the kids like to say, "You saved my battleship" at the end.
Entonces, esto se pueden comprar en un lugar que nos dan de descuento o algo y son más herramientas para utilizar.
and, and they're just regular card games. You can get cards really cheap, and you can play Go Fish 21, and I have played 21 with the kids in my math group. Where they're having to count numbers and whatnot, add very quickly. Gin, solitaire, spades, bid whist, whatever you want to play. But if you have a set of cards, there are like a trillion games that you can play with a set of cards.
Hay un buen tiempo para no necesariamente tener lápiz y papel, pero es algo mental. Eso también es una gran parte de lo que hacemos en el salón, porque a veces a propósito los niños nos dicen, no, lo puedo enseñar en juego. Tienes que hablar acerca de esto y solo para que practiquen eso
So
específicamente.
think of these as something fun that the whole family can do and just totally get into. But the kids, they're immersing themselves in math and counting and adding and subtracting, identifying
Todas
numbers,
las
all those
operaciones
things.
básicas están incorporadas en algo, como
But
un
did you
juego
say
de
bingo?
matemáticas.
Bingo too, right? Bingo works too. And so don't feel like, oh gosh, I have to do a bunch of math facts. Because again, I'm not going to knock math facts because you need to know your multiplication fraction, you know, you division, adding, all that good stuff. But sometimes step back and just realize what is math? Is it you just giving them a worksheet, or is it you just immersing them and engaging? They're talking, and if they're playing Uno, they're talking probably a lot of mess.
Porque que esa matemática sí, no es solamente las operaciones, pero es leer, escribir, hablar, demostrar, todo eso.
I know we get upset Uno in our house, but that's part of the game. So when playing math games, play as a family. Math is for everyone. Math is something that you can all engage in together, and games are a way of doing it. Because at that moment, you're doing the math. You're like, oh gosh, I'm doing math, and everyone is jumping into it. And don't worry about the games being too easy, because a lot of it is these kids just need to have fun with math.
Sí, aunque sea algo parezca fácil en un juego, no importa, es divertido y lo vamos a hacer porque la actitud es positiva.
And be careful that the games aren't too hard. There are a couple of games that are just too much going on, like the game of life. There's a lot going on with that game. Unless you've already started playing it, it's a great game for your family. But may be available to support your student. You don't want the game to be the issue. You want the game to be a way that they can engage in math. Okay.
Pero siempre, porque lo más fácil es durante la tarea especialmente, es dejarlos que lo hagan sola y uno ya llega y revisa, todo está bien, pero nunca hubo ninguna conversación, no hubieron preguntas, no hubieron explicaciones verbales. Número uno, es donde estamos viendo en la escuela como algo que debemos de mejorar.
Now, outside of your games, you have a Dollar Tree shopping list. I'm so mad it's $1.25 now. So you want dominoes. You want to have little dominoes. They're $1.25. Dice, playing cards, foam square counters, multicolored candies for sorting and classifying. And if they need a snack too, they can have that as well. So these are some of the things that you can do and make up creative games. Of course, dominoes is what it is, but you can do other things like matching with dominoes and building with dominoes, dice, rolling dice, and have kids read. Like if you have a kindergarten or first grader, go over the dice. How much is it? And they should be able to read it immediately.
Como en mis estudiantes pequeños, sí, definitivamente tocar, manipular, pero los niños ya mayores tendemos a no requerir que hagan eso más, solamente lo papel y lápiz, pero no, aún de quinto grado, estos objetos, tocarlos, arreglarlos, hacer algo con ellos también.
Foam square counters, they come in a little container for arrays and counting. So when we say 3 times 4, show me 3 times 4. 3 rolls of 4 rules of 3.
Okay, pero ¿cómo se ve eso? ¿Me puedes hacer cómo es 3 por 4? Y poner objeto, ahí está. Eso es mucho más significativo a nomás saber las tablas de multiplicar y no entender qué significa la multiplicación en sí. Es un ejemplo.
Like the candy. You want to use buttons instead of candy. Just in case. Like she told me to get candy. All right. Virtual newspaper and real shopping trips. When I was a little girl, I used to get the Sears catalog at Christmas time and make a Christmas list, and I'd have all the prices of all the toys, and I'd add it up at the end, and I'd always spend hundreds of dollars and things. But that was power. Let your kids do this too.
¿Cuánto va a costar? Para que vean la realidad de las matemáticas en la vida diaria.
And they'll have to decide which items are the best deal, so they'll make online and physical ads to purchase. Don't let them go on Amazon and all of a sudden click. I didn't tell her to do that, but and then which items is the best deal? So tell them, hey, we're going on a field trip and we need to pack a lunch, so we need certain things. So how much?
Ficticio, pero imagínense, vamos a ir a un viaje, esto necesitamos esto. ¿Cuánto va a costar? Y que lo hagan en cuenta.
Then go shopping. Go to the Dollar Tree and say, hey, you have $5. You can get whatever you want for $5, and they'll take more than $5. You have to account to know it's too much. It's too much. But once they get to the counter, they'll pay, and they have to count back their change.
Tiene suficiente.
And the funny thing is, I took my son. He was in second grade, and he's still struggling a little bit with money, but we're still working on it. It's a process. So it's a process. And so we were there, and we were in the Dollar Tree line. He's kind of, I already whispered, I spit out of my head how much change you get back, and he's waiting and he's counting his money. It's the cutest thing in the world, and there's people are lined up because Dollar Tree gets a little crowded. And all of a sudden there's a line, and he's determined, he's putting his money down, and then some lady said, "You need to hurry up."
Oh no.
And who would say that? So the lady, and then finally the lady in front of her said, "He's trying to count his money. Chill out." And everyone cheered. And, but it's important, and so don't let you know.
Porque tiende a suceder y nosotros como maestros lo vemos claramente. Cuando le hacemos una pregunta al niño, es que no contestan porque están acostumbrados a que la mamá o papá contesten por ellos y eso es bien evidente. Y tienen miedo a hablar, es entendible. Porque si yo le hago una pregunta a un niño y está la mamá y el papá y ellos contestan, no quieren tomar un riesgo de ninguna forma.
Yeah, I was very proud of my boy, and I was very proud of the lady who stood up, and that was it was one of those days. Travel games. If you like to drive, which we do because flying has become a pain. License plate sign games where they're identifying numbers and identifying things on license plate. Scenery races. Guess my number. I spy with my little eye. And these help with precision and attention to detail. So even if it's not as specifically a number issue, it helps them with precision and attention to detail, which are two of our standards of mathematical practices that we focus on.
Eso es muy importante porque muchos niños no ponen atención a detalles y si hay cosas como rótulos o cosas así donde hay números pueden jugar algo así como dar y que le adivinen el número. Ah, estás viendo un número que es 60 más 10. Ah, ahí está el 70. Así, ese tipo de juegos visuales también.
And then we have cooking and baking. I know sometimes cooking and baking, the kitchen is they come in the kitchen to make a mess, but keep it simple, counting, classifying, and when we're cooking, we're adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. We know how to take a recipe and make it for 50 people. But they need to know too measurement, following instructions, and attending to precision.
Ahí es muy importante porque la oportunidad de dar indicaciones y que las sigan en orden y llevar la cuenta de algo, multiplicar, sumar, restar y hablar a la misma vez.
And of course, reading and start simple. Make Rice Krispie treats, make chocolate pudding, make something little. You don't have to make, a steak. Don't start with Christmas tamales or anything like that. Like I told my son, we make gumbo at Christmas time, and he's like, "Well, can I help?" No, not this time. You're a little bit low for that, but we can make cookies. So please keep it simple. You don't have to cook a 5 course. All right, next one is, why is this not doing what songs and chants. Memorize the order of numbers forward and backwards. So basically, you chant. And the cool thing about the internet, we have been introduced to a lot of people who talk about different chants and songs that kids can sing along with that have numbers in it. I love what is that guy, the Hartman guy?
Oh, Jack
Jack
Hartman.
Hartman. With the little ones, the older ones didn't like it too much. Just so you know, with the K ones and twos, they were singing and dancing and counting by 10, and counting by 5, and doing all the repetitive work in a
Y lo bueno es que sí es repetición, pero es música, es movimiento, es también algo que los niños no pueden hacer muy bien es contar para atrás, o sea, en regresión. Eso les cuesta mucho.
And
Debemos de practicar.
one of the best things ever done, and they're like 40 years old, is Schoolhouse Rock. Especially for your multiplication, actually for all of them. I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. But for multiplication, it is it really got that repetition down about the facts. It's something that has stood the test of time, and I definitely.
para cosas de memorizar es muy bueno que eso tiene su lugar en el aprendizaje y eso ayuda mucho con eso.
And playing is learning. So we want to make sure that.
Jugar es aprender.
Now, this is just a few suggestions. There's a lot more you can do, but starting with one or two of these things and really, making math and learning just a family affair is so important. And if they see you're excited about math and you're like, hey, we're having a great time, it's going to transfer to so many other things, not just math. Because, as an elementary teacher, I've taught everything. So, it's going to transfer just to their attitude about learning. And that's what we want. We want well-rounded kids who are prepared to take on the challenges of every.
Positiva no solo en las matemáticas, pero eso se transfiere a todo lo que hacemos en el salón. Y a recordar que no debemos decirles que sí son buenos para unas cosas y no para otras. Porque eso sí, aún mis niños pequeñitos puedo ver quién ha hablado de cierta forma con ellos. Y
So I've come to the end of my presentation. Are there any questions or?
Cualquier pregunta o comentarios.
I mean, I gave you a lot of information. Yeah, and then if you need time to process, I'm here for you outside of this meeting. So don't think anything about calling or emailing me or just kind of showing up. And I'm usually available until about 8:30, and then after 2, if you're there. So it's all good.
Sí, y está disponible siempre. Quiere que sepa que estamos aquí también. Nomás nos pueden decir a nosotros y le preguntamos a ella cualquier cosa que quieran decir.
Besides the Khan Academy, what other websites or apps that they have for math?
Well, they have.
Supporting Khan.
Oh, they have a fellow that I just learned about last year, Steve Wyborny. He does some really great things with not just multiplication, but also with looking at attributes of numbers to it's the EV Wyborny, WYB, is right there. So basically, he does SD mysteries, and I know that Fabian is a fan of SD mysteries because we do them at least once a week. We do one because it gets kids to talk about math, and so basically, it is an opportunity for kids to, like, for instance, if you. And he also has a multiplication class, and I've been really using a lot of this. Yeah, no, it's actually for kindergarten. Yeah, I think I've done the splat with your class. Where yeah, and the splat is an opportunity for kids to do supervising. So it is a good one. It's just kind of weird to get around. So sometimes you're picking one and it's like, oh, it's too hard because it's not always labeled the way I think it should. But he does some really great.
Para experimentar, para ver qué sucede y después hablamos y decimos, oh, que hagamos esto la siguiente vez y así eso también no solo tiene, pero ya lo puede usar en los otros grados agregándole.
Exactly. So one of the things that he does that I use a lot is, a lot of the kids I work with have a difficult time with just, maneuvering around numbers and eliminating certain things about numbers when so let me do it. Eliminating certain things about numbers when this happens or that happens. So I'll say there'll be a number. Does it even come up on this one? Yeah. All right.
Porque también es importante que la información que ellos tengan que
For instance,
usar o
let's,
que no.
let's just look at it. First, these clues will come up. So the kids will look at this and they'll say, oh, there are 12 of them, or whatever number they come up with. The answer is a multiple of the number of bananas you can see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's counting by 6. That's their 6 times tables. So if they know there's 6 facts, then they'll be able to figure out that's one of those. The answer is not a multiple of 9. 6 and 9 are related because they're both multiples of 3, but so if the numbers are both, if it's a multiple of 6 and 9, you eliminate that one. Then count the bananas again. The answer does not include that digit. So there's 6 bananas, so the number doesn't include 6. So all of these attributes of numbers that they go through, and the answer does not include 2 or 3. And this gets kids talking because you ask them, why does your number work? And they have to discuss the attributes they eliminated in order to do that. A lot of times, kids don't want to talk in math because they just don't. And talking in math is such a powerful thing where we have dialogue about numbers. So this is a really good place to start.
Thank you very much.
Okay. And then we have, of course, that's another one. We have what's called SPLAT, which is a supervising activity where kids actually look at, and I've got to have SPLAT up here. The kids just look at the number and they should be able to say the number relatively quickly without counting. Supervising is just the ability to look at the number of things and not having to count them. And that helps with that automaticity when it comes to adding and subtracting and multiplying and dividing as well.
Restar y sumar. Para tener esa fluidez, sí es parte del aprendizaje en matemáticas. Sí, no hay que olvidarse de eso porque sí es necesario saber.
A lot of good stuff up there, but this is a good place, but it is a little bit cumbersome to get through because you look at it and oh, that's like that, and then you realize that, oh gosh, it's teaching like multiples of 7 plus 3 or something, which may not be something for a younger child, but for 5th grade, that's perfect. So you just have to kind of look at them before you feel them.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Okay.
Bennett.
And I'm sorry. So if you do need anything,
And if you enjoyed this recording, please check out the recording of Sylvie Virgin also in the YouTube channel about literacy intervention. Thank you so much, Dr. Bennett, for your time. Bye. This ends the recording. She's a YouTube celebrity now. Okay, so to wrap, yes. Yeah. So to wrap this up, let's talk about DLAC very briefly. The good news is that, oops, I'm going to turn off this recording.